So our next speaker is another Levi's alumni, superb graphic designer. His experience is vast, and he's released a book a couple of years ago called Denim Branded. We've got Nick Williams with us here. Epic. If you don't follow him, you should. And Nick's given a lot of presentations at like Ravensbourne, like sort of like before, and he's a good friend of ours as well. Hi Nick, I'm just going to shut up and you can actually like begin. All the best to you.
All right, good to see you. I'm going to talk about branding for denim, and I put together a book a couple of years ago. It was a passion project that I've been working on or wanted to work on for many years, and with the help of Andrew and the Kingpin Show and their support, I managed to put together a book that was all about the trims and the branding and everything that goes into branding a pair of jeans. And this was something, it was a book that I always wished sort of existed when I started working at Levi's. I started working at Levi's back in '99, and a lot of the information around the buttons, the rivets, what had changed over time, it was all kind of like out there, but it was all in different places, and word of mouth or in some magazines and stuff. So I really wanted to make a book that I wish had existed when I'd started on my journey. So I was very lucky to manage to get to visit the archives of the big three denim brands, Wrangler. This is one of my favorite pieces from the book, one of the Wrangler shirts that we photographed, but traveled to San Francisco, North Carolina and Kansas City, and photographed their archives. And as well as that, worked with a lot of modern brands as well. I wanted to show this picture because this was my first gig out of college. I studied textile design at college, and one of the very first things I did was design or create window displays for Paul Smith, and creating paintings and models that kind of like went in the window and all kinds of things. I wanted to share this picture because whenever I talk to students, I got this gig really from just walking up, like going up to the store, going up to the guy on the till and saying, here's my portfolio. I wanted to speak to someone who was in charge of the windows, and could I get involved in working on them? So I think that like really the point of showing it is to say that whoever you're interested in working with, like when you're out of college, like approach them, send them something, make them something interesting. Don't wait around to see if there's a job available, but just kind of like approach people off the bat and see where that will take you. So I ended up working at Levi's and working on all the graphics, the branding, the trims, and then after leaving Levi's, I worked for Puma, and then after leaving Levi's, I set up my own company, and now we design t-shirt graphics, we design labels, branding, hang tags for many different companies, and work as a studio. And I work with about 10 designers that work with me. We all work remotely, but I kind of liaise with all the clients. So this is an image of San Francisco in around 1850. And this was what San Francisco looked like at the time when Levi Strauss arrived there. Himself and his brother-in-law, they used to go down onto the pontoons of where the ships would come in each day, and because there was a gold rush going on in San Francisco, people were flooding into the city. And they would bid on different dry goods that were being brought in on these ships, and they would resell those. And that's kind of what they were doing at the time, in the middle of the 18th century, was reselling things. And fabric was one of the things they were selling, one of the goods. And this is the reason why Levi Strauss got involved in denim and making jeans and the rivet, really, because a tailor called Jacob Davis, he was buying his denim from Levi Strauss, and he came up with the idea of riveting jeans, and they both went into partnership. Jacob Davis moved to San Francisco and set up shop, set up a factory. This did a depiction of how that factory would have looked like, filled with seamstresses, creating denim. And over time, there were many changes, many things that changed on the jean in terms of construction, but also with the branding and the elements that went on there. This is some images of 501 during the Second World War. And as you can see, the things like the top button was replaced by this, what we call like a laurel leaf button, which was a standard issue for all brands to be using during that time. It's got that little hole, we call it like a donut button, and it's got that little hole in the center. And that was to conserve on metal, so that like anything that they could really strip back on the jeans at that time went to the war effort. So you can see on the coin pocket, the two little rivets have been removed, and even down to the stitching on the back pocket. At this time, Levi's, through government rulings, weren't allowed to stitch their back pocket design on their jeans. So they would actually print it on. It was such an important integral piece of their branding that they still printed it on the back pocket. So many things happened over the years, and this was what kind of fascinated me, finding out a lot of these stories and creating the book. Here's some images from the Rose Bowl, which is a big market that happens once a month in LA. And this is like the real mecca where jeans collectors go to find new samples. A lot of traders, people who have stores, will take them back to Japan, but also designers from places like Levi's and all sorts of other companies will go there to like buy old jeans to get inspiration for what they're working on. And a lot of these elements that are on the branding, as well as the construction, but a lot of these elements that have changed over time, will be what these collectors use to date jeans and work out what time period they're from. So when you look at modern denim jeans or vintage denim jeans, you'll see that there are a number of elements, branding elements, that have become kind of standard over the years: rivets, buttons, paper labels, woven labels, back pocket stitching. Sometimes you might have a zipper fly, so you'll have design on that. And this over time has created like many different iterations of design. Some brands looking back to vintage styles to create their branding elements. Other brands, so we've got some examples here like Denim, this powder coated white button down the bottom with the kind of copper center, with the little logo of the shears printed on there. Or this other brand, the rivet at the top, is from this brand Butcher of Blue. So it's like got a butcher's hook printed onto the rivet. But all of these elements that you see will kind of help tell the story of that brand. So when you're designing for a brand or creating your own brand, like all of these elements are so important, because that's where these brands can put their personality into the jean. Maybe they'll have it in like hidden places, like you'll see at the bottom right there, Kings of Indigo, they've actually like embroidered one of their logos inside the pocket. So you would, as a consumer, you might not even know it's there until you like open that pocket one day and discover it. And then modern day jeans now, the placement of branding has become much more adventurous. People placing branding in not so much in traditional areas now, and playing with it. But branding can also be part of a way that brands can follow their product, like through QR codes. A company can use this as a way to connect with their consumer, tell them stories, even like find out about the consumers can find out about where that jean was made, and find out how it got to where it would be, and also share information back so they can tell the brand what the onward story is of that jean after it's been purchased. A brand here, this brand Outland Denim, the brand really was formed by the founder after he saw a film on human trafficking, and it inspired him to do something about it. So he created a factory in Vietnam, and in the hope of like saving people from poverty and human trafficking, and having those seamstresses that work on the denim and create the denim to have their own story and have like a pocket bag print, actually like a little message from the actual person that's made the jean to the consumer. They also have like a lot of sustainability built into their denim. So on the patch, they use like a paper kind of style patch instead of like leather patches. They used to also have all of their packaging. They use a root vegetable. It comes from a root vegetable called cassava, and that can create plastic bags. You can create plastic bags and plastic packaging from that. Kings of Indigo from Amsterdam have, again, sustainability built into their trims. So all of their paper is made from, the paper trims are made from recycled cardboard boxes, shoe boxes. Their metal trims, they use actually recycled hospital equipment. They have a vegan alternative leather patch, and their pocket bag fabric is made from combining like plastic bottles, combining them with cotton to create a fabric that's durable to use in pocket bags. Levi Strauss, they did a collaboration with a surf brand called Outer Known, and they kind of went one stage, not one stage further, but came sort of to sustainability within branding from a different angle. So the shirt at the bottom here, when garments are recycled, it's similar to when you might be like putting your rubbish into different boxes, like cardboard into one and plastic into another, and garments need to be taken apart to be recycled in that same way. So the buttons will need to be removed, the metal buttons will need to be removed, and other labels, if they're not cotton labels, will need to be removed before garments can be recycled. So these garments were actually built so the whole garment was 100% cotton. So the labels, the branding, even down to the buttons, are created from like pressing cotton into a machine to create like solid hard cotton that creates like a button. So that's the end of the presentation. If you want to find out more, check out the website or have a look at the book. Yeah, I hope that wasn't too quick. I tried to, I don't know how long I've been talking for.
You're amazing. You're spot on time, actually. We've got about a minute and a half or 2 minutes. Someone's asking for your contact details. They're on the screen now. Nick's got a great Instagram, so you can follow him there, and you can also get his book on Amazon quite easily. Not many questions, but it's all good. I think you know, Nick's really cool. You can reach out for his book. His book is absolutely amazing. There is a denim Bible as well, so especially about branding. But there's so many things that students can do. They have access to laser printers. They have access to loads of stuff, and don't be afraid to print stuff with a rubber stamp. Don't be afraid, you know, don't be intimidated by, oh, I have to make a leather patch. I made a leather patch the other day and I just stamped it with a rubber stamp. It cost me 20 quid to make. I got it like delivered within 1 day from the shop. So there are really quick and easy ways to do stuff and that still look cool. Nick, you were amazing. And thank you so much for that presentation.
No problem.
Again, amazing.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Bye.